So let's well, before we begin, no, let's call the meeting to order. Chairman, if you want to call it to order officially.
Yeah, I want to call the meeting to order.
All right. I have a reading of the OPMA statement on December 30th, 2019. Notice of this meeting was emailed to the Courier Post and Gloucester City News newspapers for publication and duly posted on the official Bellmawr Redevelopment Agency website. The corresponding official notice to Borough Clerk was emailed on January 2nd, 2020, which included request for posting notice to the official Borough of Bellmawr website and bulletin board. On June 10th, 2020, notice of this meeting's location changed to online was duly posted to the agency's official website. Further, public notice was emailed to the Courier Post and Gloucester City newspapers for publication. The corresponding official notice to clerk was emailed the same day, parenthetically 6/10/2020, which included requests for posting notice to the official Borough of Bellmawr website and bulletin board. All requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been met in compliance with the Sunshine Law. That'll take us to the flag salute. There we go. Pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United
of
States,
the United States
of America,
and to the
and to the
republic
republic
which it stands,
which stands
one
one
nation,
nation, under God,
indivisible, with
indivisible, liberty,
and justice for all.
justice for all.
All right. That'll bring us to a roll call. Chairman Frank Philippek,
Here, Frank Philippek.
Vice Chair Garagoza,
Here, Jay Garagoza.
Commissioner Steve Haggerty, Commissioner Paul DeAngelis,
Paul DeAngelis here.
Commissioner Nicopatos, Commissioner Tom Whitman, Commissioner Neil Patel.
Patel here.
Management professionals, the executive director, Joshua Tregear, that's me, I'm here. Michael McKenna, solicitor.
Here, along with this barking dog. That's mine. Sorry.
And then Dennis Grimaldi, our engineer.
Hey, I'm here. Hopefully I'm not muted.
Nah, we got you. Thanks, Dennis. Again, before we move any further, any members from the public, if you could just stay muted until the public portion. Also, if you hear if there's a slight pause or anything like that, just again, that's me. I'm managing both the portal access and the slide deck. For the board members, again, you've been very good with this. Please continue doing so. With any votes or action items, motions, seconds, or any voting, please state your name along with your vote. And then if any problems occur, technical or otherwise, during the presentation with the slide deck or anything like that, just default to the standard agenda. And with that, our agenda is as follows. We got the reading of the minutes, communications, commissioner reports, the executive director report, solicitor's report, new business, public portion, and adjournment. And with that, we have the reading of the minutes for regular meeting June 4th, 2020. This was the meeting that was postponed from May.
I make a motion to dispense with the minutes. Frank Philippek.
Thank you, Chairman.
Jay Garagoza, I second it.
Well, thank you, Vice Chairman. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All right. Thank you very much. That brings up communications. I have none. And then brings us to commissioner reports. Chairman Philippek.
I don't have any.
Vice Chair Garagoza.
None.
Commissioner DeAngelis.
No, I don't have any at this time. Thank you.
And Commissioner Patel.
I took my second course that I'm required during the 18 months, the redevelopment course.
Awesome, Neil. Thank you. And I think that concludes the commissioner reports. That brings us to the executive director's report. won't say too much on this because Mike will have a lot more to say, or won't say a lot more, but more of a briefing, additional briefing. But with redevelopment agreement that was recently approved via the resolution last month, we are working together with David Weinstein, our special counsel for contracts, and as well as Mike. And we are finalizing the docs for to get executable hard copies so we can get signatures and get a final execution on these things. I believe Mr. Weinstein will be providing some sort of memo shortly, providing a briefing to the board as well as the borough. I won't say any more on that because I know Mike will have many more salient points on that than I would, but that's where we're at with that. Last week, the developer invited me out to conduct a site visit on the West Effort parcel that's going to be managed by the agency, and that's going to be part of that whole Green Acres diversion, just the wetlands area that we're going to take over. And then the audit 2019, things have moved slowly with that, obviously, given the situation, but moving steadily with that. I'm going to begin really pushing them further next week, and might have to just push the presentation to August, which isn't really a big deal to the state or anybody. So, and then in closing, just as Neil mentioned, the required educational courses. I want to thank all the commissioners that did register and did take the courses. For those that didn't, I'm looking ahead for a fall schedule from Rutgers and see what they'll do there. I don't know if they'll continue to offer online courses or if it's going to go back or it's going to be some sort of hybrid. But once I get that, I'll get that out to everybody so we can get everybody finalized. For myself, I have one 6-hour course this Thursday, and then I have one more which I'm going to do in the fall, and that'll be it. That is it for me. I'll turn it over to Solicitor McKenna.
All right, I'm just sending a text to a phone call that might have been Tom. To tell him that I'm about to talk at this meeting and ask him to send me a text. All right, good evening, folks. I can say that since our June 4th authorization, we've set about to the tedious function of making sure that every single I is dotted and T's crossed and exhibits up to date with respect to the RDA. And that was a required chore assigned to me in the resolution from the agency. Now, what I thought, since Mr. Weinstein, our contracts counsel, was the last sort of tip of the spear. Yeah, can you hear me?
Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, Tom Whitman's trying to call me on my phone.
All right, so I'll tell you what. Take the call. Oh, you can't. Let me call that number back, and I can bring him in because I'm not using my phone. So let me just go to recents, and hopefully he's on speaker now. So is that you? Is that you, Tom?
Yeah, Tommy.
All right, Tom. Thanks for this end around. You are on speaker as a part of the public meeting, so they can hear you, and you can hear them. But I wanted to alert you to that before I, put you in a bad spot. Folks, can everybody hear Mr. Whitman signing on?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, Tom.
Okay.
Hi, Tom.
All right. So thus far, Tom, we've just sort of gone through the agenda, and I'm about to tell them.
I apologize.
Those guys won't let you talk either. It's no problem. We appreciate it. We knew when you told us you'd be here that you've well, we had one. We never missed. You've never missed a meeting, so we've got plenty of slack in the day. Tom, I was just about to tell the folks about the what's going on since June 4th, and essentially what I'm telling them is I was assigned, or actually the solicitor was assigned the job of making sure before our chairman affixes his signature that the document has been reviewed. And the first part of that is every single page has to match the last one that we had reviewed and approved, and it does. Second thing is we had to make sure that the park plans, the updated at the very last moment park plans were attached as an exhibit. That's been done. And today, the last piece of the third piece of the puzzle was the adjustments of the milestones. The last time we adjusted the milestones or set them out for you all and the council was about 6 months ago in November. And it's sequential. So each thing that has to be done is based upon the prior things. So we added months to the time frames, and that is now completely up to date. I almost had a letter for you all from Mr. Weinstein that would have confirmed that and allowed our chairman to sign as early as tonight. But I'm told that process is over. I've vetted it myself, and Josh has been in the loop. Timelines are now complete and accurate, such that as early as tomorrow, our chairman can sign our version of the RDA, and it's the same version as council's. I'm not sure what their status is, but that starts a clock rolling. So that's good stuff, and I'm happy to have it. I do have a verbal that's all clear. There's lots of things that follow from this. All those other agency applications, the execution of the agreement of sale and the site lease. But what was critical was getting the chairman's signature on the RDA, which we didn't want him to do until we could both sign our names to it and say, this is it. It's the last, final, best version there is, as well as the exhibits. So that's where we are, and it's just another step in the road. It's a pretty awesome, important one. So, Mr. Chairman, you'll be probably tomorrow-ish, as soon as you see our approval letter, to coordinate with Josh the signing, which is a different chore nowadays, the signing of the contract documents, and he'll then post them, and he'll tell you more about what he's going to do for transparency and public availability of this contract when he gets his chance. That's all I have for right now. The next steps in the timeline were set out last meeting in June 4th. They are fairly extensive. I could probably give them to you in writing, and I probably should. But we're going to be proceeding on parallel tracks. It's not going to be strictly sequential. So there'll be agency approvals like Firelands and Green Acres being sought simultaneously while we're signing documents for agreements of sale for these other DOT construction schedules, our closing. There's going to be a flurry of activity to implement the contract that was just approved by both council and the agency. That's my report.
All right, very good, Mike. That brings us to new business. Only one resolution on the agenda for this evening. This is resolution number 06-033-20 of Bellmawr Redevelopment Agency authorizing payment of the outstanding bills. I just need a motion and
I make a motion, Frank Philippek.
I second it, Jay Gargosa.
All right, thank you, Jay. Financial, so we'll do a roll call. Chairman Philippek,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gargosa,
Yes.
Commissioner DeAngelis,
Yes.
Commissioner Patel,
Yes.
and Commissioner Whip.
Yes.
I got it. I got it. All right, that concludes new business. That brings us to the portion. If there's any members of the public that want to speak, now would be the time to unmute yourself. We'll give it a few seconds here.
Josh, this is Mark Sharp. Can you hear me?
I got you, Mark. Mark, again, just for the record, your address.
I'm sorry, 352 Anthony Drive.
Anthony?
Yeah, Anthony Drive.
Okay.
Yeah. Josh, are we going to continue with the online meetings, or are we going to have is this going to be throughout the summer, do you expect?
Well, right now, I mean, Mark, our decision to hold the meetings online, it was derived through lack of access to the Borough Hall because of the required closing. So, I mean, really, we'll go as the borough does, and if the borough, based on the restrictions and whoever they're dealing with from the state and the county, on, what is acceptable and what is not, when they feel comfortable and, the restrictions are gone to allow us to host the meetings again, in the courtroom there at Borough Hall, we'll do so. But I really haven't gotten any, I really, at this time, like Mark, I really couldn't give you, like a hard date or even a ballpark. Honestly, I mean,
Hey, Josh, if I could pipe in on this.
yeah, sure. Mark.
Some of us solicitors have been talking, and we talked about this at the last planning board meeting we had. Some solicitors are reading this 25 person limitation on reopening as a potential civil liability problem, like a denial of access.
Right.
Not that we're always, inundated with members of the public, but if you give rise to the idea that the 26th person is precluded,
right,
unnecessarily, you're kind of asking for trouble. And we're always pretty careful about ensuring full participation, as Mark knows. And we don't almost never have 25, but we're asking for, many solicitors believe that we're asking for trouble. And they're giving the town's advice until there's no limit or other than your meeting room limit. Then when you hit your meeting room limit, you're supposed to then adjourn and get a bigger room.
right.
You're asking for trouble to come out of virtual and go into a limited public of presently it's 25. Last I checked.
Well,
So
no,
we'll
it's very
keep an eye on that. They're saying if they lift it, they lift it.
right.
But until then, it's probably status quo is the wisest course.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Kenneth, thank you for that.
All right.
Mr. Kenneth, thank you for that.
You're welcome, Mark.
And I just wanted to thank Chairman Philippak, Commissioner Whitman, and Commissioner Patel for always attending the meetings. I like seeing that. It shows level of dedication and commitment, so I wanted to thank each of them. And once again, Josh, thanks again for posting the information and providing the PowerPoint presentation for the public to follow along. So thank you for that.
no problem, Mark. All right, with that, is there anything else from the public? Any other members? Give it a couple seconds here. All right, with that, I believe we can close the public portion and move to an adjournment.
Well, before you adjourn, I want to publicly thank the mayor and the 6 councilmen that voted to work with us on this project. And I think it's going to be very feasible for Bellmawr. And I think Bellmawr is going to come out ahead on this thing. And I want to thank D'Angelo's. He's there right now. You thank the other 4 that voted. I really appreciate it. And also, in Mr. Sharp's remark, Mr. Garagosa hasn't missed a meeting, and Mr. D'Angelo's has made a lot of meetings too. So I want to make sure they don't feel bad about it either. Okay? Thank you.
All right. All right. Anything else before we go into adjournment?
Now I make a motion we adjourn.
I second it.
All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
All right, Tom.
All right.
All right, let's hang up.